Speedway Report is produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for Racers Reunion Radio. While rain, go away, Michigan somehow got the racing weekend in. Now, Canada hosted the F1 circus in the Eastern time zone, yay me, and Eldora Speedway handed out $100,000 to the winner in their annual dream. Well, all this and more coming right up. Welcome to Speedway Report for Monday, June the 11th, 2018, from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm Patrick Reynolds, and thank you for joining the fastest half hour in racing. With all the nice weather we had here in the South, warm, sunny, hot, spotty thunderstorms here or there kind of danced around them. Nothing compared to what Michigan faced in the Irish Hills. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Tour was supposed to run 400 miles yesterday. Xfinity was supposed to run 250 Saturday. I wrote darn near the same thing for both races. Let's start with the Cup race. Little blurb here. We'll go Clint Boyer won the rain-shortened race, which was also rain-delayed. It started 2 hours late and ended at 133 of 200 laps. They were fortunate to get this one in. Here's my report from the Xfinity race. Austin Dillon won the rain-shortened race, which was also rain-delayed. It started 3 hours late and ended at 91 of 125 laps. They were fortunate to get this one in. Except for the time the green flag fell, the winner in the laps, basically the same thing happened both days. We'll talk a little bit about that and some officiating opinions shortly. The trucks had a clear sailing down in Texas on Friday night. Johnny Sauter won that event there. NASCAR's K&N Pro Series West Tours were out in Colorado, and Derek Thorne won the race, former guest on this show. Good dude. Had a chance to meet him here in Charlotte several years ago after he won the West Championship. Can't remember exactly what year it is, whatever it was, 2-3 years ago. But anyway, Derek Thorne back in victory lane. The Indy cars were in Texas on Saturday night. One of the greats. You got to call him an all-time great now. Scott Dixon found his way to victory lane at Eddie Gossage's facility. And Formula One was up in Canada, same time zone as me. I think that happens about once a year. This is about it. And Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari led from start to finish. Kind of funky last lap. They waved the checkered flag way early. Vettel was only partway through his final lap, and he even saw it on the big screen and radioed into his crew, said, "Hey, we're not done here." So, I don't know. FIA's got a ruling on that. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. The Haas cars finished 12th and 14th out of the championship points, but I'll give some notice to Romain Grosjean. He had a nice drive from 20th on the grid up to 12th. Not far from us, the NHRA was up in Virginia. Little sun, little heat, nice afternoon. In Top Fuel, Steve Torrence beat Doug Coletta in the final. In Funny Car, Courtney Force beat her dad, John Force. That was Courtney's fourth win this season. Good to see two Force cars just finish the race after all the trouble they've had out of their camp. In Pro Stock, Tanner Gray beat two-time champ Erica Enders. That makes 4 final round appearances for Erica this year. 3 runner-up finishes and 1 victory, but she's got the most final round appearances of anybody in Pro Stock in the NHRA this year. And in Pro Stock Motorcycle, L.E. Tonglet won his first of the season over Andrew Hines. On the dirt, the World of Outlaw Sprints raced last Tuesday in Fairbury, Illinois. Sheldon Haudenschild won the A-Main there. Then they moved to Jackson, Minnesota for the Jackson Nationals. Thursday night's preliminary feature was won by Jason Johnson. Friday night's race was rained out, rescheduled it for Saturday afternoon. Johnson won it again, and in the Saturday night finale, and the $40,000 first place prize went to Donnie Schatz. When the big money's on the line, you can count on the big names. You should have had shots in the pool. ARCA Cars held a matinee on Friday afternoon in Michigan. Sheldon Creed won his first ever ARCA checkered. He also takes over the championship point lead. The USAC Sprints raced Friday night in Greenwood, Nebraska. Kevin Thomas Jr. won the A main, and on Saturday they went to probably the sprint car capital of the world in Knoxville, Iowa, where Tyler Courtney won. And just 1 year ago, he had a bad flip in this same event in Knoxville on his, well, not really on the roof, on the cage 1 year in Victory Lane this year. In the Northeast, in Grandview, Pennsylvania, Jeff Strunk won the small block feature in Grandview, PA. The Cars Tour did something unique. Their first time doing this. The late model stock cars and the super late models often do a double header. This time they raced in two different facilities. The late model stocks were up at Ace Speedway in Altamaha, North Carolina. Bobby McCarty won that race, but the super lates were down at Anderson, South Carolina, and Bubba Pollard took the checkered flag there. My home track in Winston-Salem, North Carolina is the Bowman Gray Stadium, better known as the Madhouse, and Lee Jeffries and Jonathan Brown split the NASCAR Modified Twin 25s on Saturday night. The big dirt race of the weekend was the Dream at the Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. Thursday night's preliminary adventure was rained out and put to Friday afternoon. So on Friday afternoon, they ran Twin 25s. Jonathan Davenport and Daryl Lanigan each won the feature event. The regularly scheduled Friday night Twin 25s were taken by Earl Pearson Jr. and Chris Madden. So if you were at the track Friday, you saw a whole lot of laps. And Saturday night's big finale, Scott Bloomquist won the $100,000 Dream, came from 15th on the grid, and he finished 9 seconds ahead of Dale McDowell. I'm going to say that again, 9 seconds, because I sound like Ferris Bueller's principal. 9 times, Mrs. Bueller. Well, he won by 9 seconds over Dale McDowell. That's all I could come up with for that, but that's what rang in my head was Ferris Bueller. Now, let's get to the internet geniuses that want to question the officials' decisions. I'll jump on board with this talk. I'll stir the pot. I'll throw some gasoline on this fire. The governing bodies, my goodness. We want to talk. We'll start with NASCAR. Up in Michigan and the rainy day 400 yesterday and the 250 on Saturday. They had 4 days of racing if you count the ARCA cars being on track Thursday. Rain messed up and took away track time Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And NASCAR still got beat up over this. You guys know, I lean into NASCAR absolutely as much as anybody. I'm no fan for so much of what they do. This weekend, I'm going to jump on board with these guys. I thought they stuck it out and they did a fantastic job digging hard and get these races in at all. People were saying both cases, the Xfinity race started 3 hours late. So you're pushing whatever it was, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. I'm not sure exactly the time, but you run part of the race and then it rains. And then you don't have a whole lot of daylight left. On Sunday, basically the same thing. It was more than 2 hours late for the green flag. They ran as much as they could when the rains came again. I think we should be fortunate that either one of these races got run in at all and we're not running a Monday doubleheader matinee for both series. People were laying into NASCAR for not trying to finish these races. This was simple math, guys. You only had so much daylight to work with at the end of the day at Michigan before the sunset. And the time it takes for the rain's got to stop. And the instant the rain stops, providing there's no more coming, you have about 2 hours to dry this place. It's a 2-mile facility. Even with the air tightens, you got 2 hours. You got to figure in 2 hours. And to run the even green flag it again, get it restarted again, you just did not have any daylight left for what they were working with. And there were still the internet and Twitter geniuses that beat up NASCAR on this. It's good Lord, who hops on Brian France and beats his head more than I do? Nobody. But goodness gracious, you can't get him on this one. I am highly in favor of NASCAR and what they did. I think they should be commended for the effort they put in to even get these 2 races in. If we looked at the forecast for some of these races, we got these, the keyboard warriors for race fans calling for postponement of racing on Tuesday for that weekend's race. They already know the weather pattern, and you've got to stick it out and stick to the schedule and give it your best shot on that day, minute by minute, hour by hour, however it changes. And you can't just make a call on Tuesday to postpone this stuff Saturday and Sunday to Monday, or whatever these crazy ideas. I don't know what they're drinking or smoking, but you can't do that. It must be their first day following auto racing. I don't understand that. But we had rain at Michigan. It was a pain for everybody. It sucked for everybody. The fans, NASCAR, the competitors, everybody. It sucked. But what are you supposed to do? You're at an outdoor event. This is if it was a concert, any kind of entertainment venue, outdoor movie, whatever, you're at the mercy of the weather, a ball game, whatever. You're at the mercy of the weather. And stop with the rain tires on stock cars on an oval. Shut up. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. We tried rain tires on stock cars on road courses. Racing sucked. Don't go down that road. Leave the slicks on. Postpone it if you got to do it, or work what we did. Work in and around the rain. It's not just a simple case of bolting on rain tires. You remember, gosh, it was 10 years ago. We ran that rain race up in Montreal with then it was the Nationwide Series, now called the Xfinity Series. Yeah, we did it. It was an experience that we ran a race in the rain, but the race sucked. What do you want to do that for, just to get it in? It's not a good plan. Other cars do it with the downforce and sports car racing and open cockpit racing. It's not a good idea for stock cars. It's not going to happen on a big track. Keyboard warriors, keep it in your pants. It's not going to happen. Please stop. For the love of God, stop. Now let's jump on the FIA, bail off of NASCAR's back, or NASCAR's defense on this one, and jump on the back of the FIA. The checkered flag waving early when Sebastian Vettel was only partway done of his final lap. I don't know how that happens. How do you mess that up? FIA even has a provision in their rule book that says if this happens, here's how we're going to address it. Well, why is it there to begin with? Why is this rule there to begin with when it should never happen? I don't quite follow that. To me, and I don't have an FIA rule book, but to me, when the checkered flag waves, I got it, but it's more of a symbol as opposed to official timing and scoring. The race is over when the computer chip says that first car hits that finish line on the final lap of the race. So you can wave the flags all you want. But to me, the race is over when the winner hits the line. Never mind what the flag is waving. So I'm sure that threw a monkey wrench into some of the drivers when they're racing past the checkered flag and let off. But usually you think the team principals or engineers or strategists on pit lane are radioing into their drivers and saying, hey, keep cruising. You still got another lap to go. They don't use the white flag in Formula One, but if they did, that would have been waving and not the checkered flag. I don't know how that happens. As much as I love NASCAR for doing all they could in Michigan, I don't understand the FIA up in Canada. I don't even know how that's possible with the amount of technology that's in Formula One, which is so much bigger than NASCAR. NASCAR has some pretty good technology. FIA and Formula One are head and shoulders above in the technological department. So how does they zigzag with a checkered flag like that? I don't know. It's kind of baffling to me and almost comical. Embarrassing, maybe? Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Not a good look. Not a good look for the folks seeing F1 for the first time if they're up there in Canada. Now, those of you on Facebook and social media, I teased this weekend and this upcoming weekend, not the one just passed, the upcoming one is Father's Day weekend. And there is a wonderful opportunity for a racing series to take advantage of Father's Day Sunday. And for the second year in a row, they blew it. I think it's a bad move. We'll get. Let me explain to you what's going on. This upcoming weekend, first, it's kind of surprising. Father's Day, we don't have a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup race. For years, this was tradition at Michigan. It was the Father's Day Sunday. We raced at Michigan. I get it. I kind of, there's also a traditional day. Sometimes it flexed year to year. Sometimes it was Pocono. I remember it was in Sonoma a time or two, but it often fell on Michigan. And Father's Day for the Cup Tour was just kind of a staple. I get not racing Easter or Mother's Day. Fully understand it. But Father's Day, we raced. Guys want to go to the racetrack. Well, let's race on Father's Day, but there's no Cup race. So who gets the spotlight? What do we do? Well, NASCAR is smart, That there's no Cup race. Okay. But they are featuring the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. We got a doubleheader in Iowa this weekend. Saturday night, the trucks will roll, and on Sunday afternoon, the Xfinity Series was there. Nice for NASCAR to showcase their support series like that, the two other national series. Now, here's what I'm always after, is the other sanctioning bodies here in the United States should not be afraid of NASCAR, but they should use their heads and try to take advantage of NASCAR's schedule, use it as a tool. So, Father's Day weekend, Father's Day Sunday, there's no Cup race, but we do have an Xfinity race. We all know that's not the firepower or the muscle of the Cup Series. NHRA is smart. They are in Bristol, Tennessee, Thunder Valley. So they've got a great event there. Very, historic racetrack, firmly entrenched in motorsports, Bristol, Tennessee. They're going to run Sunday afternoon. Now, IMSA is not racing. However, they do this to give their teams a break to go support Le Mans, France. This weekend is the 24-hour race over in France. I see this. This makes perfect sense to me for them to not race here in the U.S. and give their teams a chance to support the event in France, the big 24-hour race. It's a historic race. I get that. So who's missing the boat here? IndyCar. IndyCar, you guys, to me, as much as I love you, dropped the ball on this one. Now, here's the question I put up, and here's the answer I'll give you. Do they do this to support the 24-hour race? There's a few of our guys here in the U.S. that are regulars on the IndyCar series that are going to France and support the 24 hours. They're going to compete there. What is the bigger game? For IndyCar to have their drivers, their regular series drivers, over in Le Mans, France, driving in this race? Or would you be better off or better served, your sponsors, your series, your fans, your community, if you had a big race this Sunday afternoon here in the U.S.? Like if that was the Pocono race, or whatever race they want to do. Now, granted, they had the month of May. That's a gruel at Indianapolis. They went straight from there to Detroit, straight from there to Texas this past Saturday night. But I think it would have shifted the schedule a little bit with Detroit and Texas. Maybe this would have been a good place for Texas. But there we are, a Sunday afternoon when we're dealing with rating points in the Cup Series as far as 2 and 3, and sometimes an IndyCar rating of below a 1.0. Here is an opportunity for fans, race fans, tune in. Where's the Cup race? They're clicking their remote. It's not anywhere, but there is an IndyCar race on network television. This was a golden opportunity. I think it'd be a bigger, better show. More power would be served the IndyCar community, their sponsors, their fans, if they were in front of the American audience this Sunday afternoon and not having their drivers go to Le Mans. My opinion, I just see that IndyCar could have looked at that schedule. I would fill all those holes when the Cup race is on Saturday night. Those Sunday afternoons that are free, I would gobble those up. I go back to what I said a few minutes ago. Don't be afraid of NASCAR, but use their schedule as a tool. Work around it and work to their weaknesses to your strengths, and get more eyes on your series. For my money, the racing is better in IndyCar than Cup. Case closed. If I were to buy a ticket, I'd rather spend it on an IndyCar race than a Cup race. Case closed. A lot of fans don't give IndyCar the chance. It's the open cockpits, the open wheels, they're traditional stock car people. If you put it in front of their eyes this Sunday, there's no Cup race. Here was a golden opportunity. I don't think supporting the 24 hours of Le Mans was the right thing to do and most beneficial to IndyCar. I'd much rather see them have a solo run this Sunday afternoon somewhere. They're back in 2 weeks at Road America at Elkhart Lake. That would have been a fantastic show this Sunday to have them, have that race, Sunday afternoon. Even if it was on cable TV, network TV, whatever you got, let them rip. That was a golden opportunity. I wave IndyCar's flag so much. It's a wonderful series. I love it so much. I think they dropped the ball on this one with no Father's Day race with the Cup Series being off. Before we get out of here tonight, Racers Reunion friend Wally Bell made a post. Drag racing legend Tom McEwen, the Mongoose, has passed away. Former guest on this show, too. The Snake and Mongoose. We had Don Prudhomme on here. We've had Tom McEwen on here. These guys were on a few years ago. The Snake and Mongoose movie. Thrilled to talk to these guys and get to know them a little bit. And sad day in the history of motorsports, Tom McEwen. Rest in peace, Mongoose. We will miss you. Guys, in between our broadcasts, keep up on the world of auto racing with SpeedwayReport.com. This broadcast and all of our past shows are uploaded on the site. We also have racing articles to read. Now, SpeedwayReport.com had a lot of Indy 500 coverage. I wrote a story about Danica Patrick's final race and what her career meant to motorsports. Upcoming, I'm working on something but with Bobby Santos III, and the backdrop for it was the Little 500 at the Anderson Speedway. So check back with SpeedwayReport.com for some good reads for you guys. Now, this broadcast and all of our past episodes are on the Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds Facebook page, the Racers Reunion Facebook page, Speedway Report on Twitter, Speedway Pat on Twitter, RacersReunion.com in the forum, and, of course, like I said, our website, SpeedwayReport.com. And if you are connected to me personally on Google+, LinkedIn, or Facebook, or our YouTube channel, brand new, we're all over the internet. You can pretty much find us just about every medium we got out there. Big thanks to everyone in our Facebook Live feed for joining the conversation during the show. I'll get back to you guys shortly. Just being a one-man band here, so it's tough to go back and forth with the chit-chat, but I'll talk to you guys shortly. Always a pitch. Go see a race at a track near you. The grassroots ovals, drag strips, and road courses are the backbone and foundation of the auto racing world. So this coming Father's Day weekend, don't spend it in front of the, get out there Friday and Saturday nights. Go to your local short track. Go to your local track this weekend. Give the guys some support. I want to thank all of the military, past and present, for the freedoms we enjoy as Americans in our daily life, including the simple things like bench racing right here on a Monday night. Freedom is not free, and a veteran paid that bill for us. To all of the men and women who are defending freedom and watching Speedway Report, take care of yourselves and come home soon. A special salute to the teachers, school staff, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics in our own communities. They are quiet and modest heroes every single day. God bless and thank you. You have been watching Speedway Report from the shores of Lake Norman in Race City, USA, Mooresville, North Carolina. Please like our Facebook page, Speedway Report with Patrick Reynolds, and follow me on Twitter at Speedway Pat. On the Drag Racing List Facebook page next is Racing and Rockin' with Draglist.com. You can join BP, JB, and BS for your NHRA news and some cool music. We will be back live here on Facebook next week, Monday, June 11th. No, today's the 11th. 18th, next week, Monday, June 18th. We will look at the NHRA in Thunder Valley, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, short tracks, and a whole lot more, obviously not IndyCar. Thank you all for joining us. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.